Okay. We'll wait for everybody to. Hello and welcome to Builder Partnerships Webinar Wednesday. My name is Lisa Putnam. I'm filling in for Emma Jane. We've got a poll up on the screen. Love to have you respond. We'll leave it up for just a little bit more. We have a great topic for you today. Rebecca Mayo from Guild Quality is here to talk about thriving in the reputation economy. Love that title. I'll go ahead and end the poll and share the results. Well, it looks like we had about 50-50 here. All right. Guild Quality is a valued member of Builder Partnerships and a preferred supplier of customer survey data for our Customer Satisfaction Award. It's our pleasure to have Guild Quality presenting today. Before I turn it over to Rebecca, I want to mention we are recording the presentation and you'll receive a replay link via email within 24 hours. You can also find replay links for all of our webinars at builderpartnerships.com/events. We encourage you to ask questions during the webinar using the Q&A speech bubble at the bottom of your screen. We'll most likely hold questions till the end, but feel free to input them at any time. If you're watching the replay, you can contact us at info@builderpartnerships.com with any questions. And with that, I'll turn it over to Rebecca.
Perfect. Lisa, thank you so much for having me today. We're honored to be here. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Becca, as Lisa mentioned, and I am a sales executive at Guild Quality. I'm really, really excited to be here today to talk to you all about the reputation economy, specifically what that is and how you can ensure that you guys are each positioned for success, especially right now in the past couple months. I know we've all been through a lot. So really looking forward to giving you guys some helpful tools to navigate that. Wanted to share a brief agenda for our time together today. To start, we'll take a look and examine what exactly a reputation economy is and how you can come out on top of COVID-19. Next, we're going to discuss how to strengthen your online reputation, something that is absolutely vital in your ability to continue to thrive as we move into the remainder of 2020. And finally, we'll cover 3 ways that you can immediately impact the success of your business. So if you've had a tough couple of months or whether you know you're doing great, we'll talk about how to continue that. So first things first, I know that we're all connected today virtually, but I want you to raise your hand if you have bought something online in the last month. Or I guess think about something that you have shopped for online recently. Keep your hand up virtually if before clicking or purchasing the item that you read reviews that were left by previous customers of that item. For those of you that are thinking about that or that actually have your hand raised, congratulations. You have transcended in the reputation economy. So that basically means that you have made a buying decision in today's reputation economy. So whether you know it or not, everybody is really operating in a reputation economy today. What that means is basically businesses and consumers alike have become more tech savvy and have turned to the internet more than anything, more than before, to number 1, promote their products and services, or 2, determine which businesses they would like to work with specifically. As a result, it's really important that you maintain your online reputation, and it's really an integral part of doing business now. No matter what you're selling, who you're representing, what your company does, it's just a very important piece of the puzzle these days. So I wanted to dive into some data. I know a lot of us really like to dive deep into analytics, so I just wanted to share some interesting facts with you. According to HubSpot, 88% of consumers trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations. This was actually shocking to me. So while people are, people still may ask a friend or neighbor for a referral or who's their favorite contractor, who did work on their home, who built the home, etc., they're still going to rely heavily on options that total strangers have written online about them. So another thing at play here is that by marketing, the marketing playing field has basically flattened. The internet provides a relatively inexpensive way to spread a lot of information quickly, and entire businesses are now being built on search engine optimization, or what we know as SEO and paid search. So the question is, are these actually good businesses? Maybe they are. It's really hard to tell sometimes. And that's really another reason why customer reviews are becoming more important than ever before to consumers when making their buying decisions. So customer feedback theoretically provides a really trusted opinion that validates whether the claim of being, the best of the best, or the Cadillacs of what you do in your area rings true, or is it just a marketing spin? So where the rubber meets the road really is the picture that is painted online needs to really match the reality of your customers and your clients' experiences with you. Another interesting tidbit that we found was the Forum Corporation produced a study that showed if two companies were identical, except for the level of service that they offered, most homeowners would actually choose to work with a company that provides better service. So the same study also showed that 40% of these consumers would actually switch to a competitor if it meant receiving better customer experience. So, even if that meant paying more for it, which I found was fascinating. So a quick recap, just to tie it all up for you. What's old is actually new again, and that reputation still matters. But the landscape is just so different now, and your reputation has to be visible to everybody online, because this is really where the buying decisions are being made now. So let's recap again. The reputation economy is technically an environment where success of a company relies heavily on how they are perceived online. And I wanted to pull up this quote by Richard Branson. I think he's great. As Richard Branson, he's the founder of the Virgin Group, once said, and probably does continue to say, your brand name is only as good as your reputation. So really, your reputation is a key driver for trusted trades. And having said that, really maintaining a positive reputation, especially one that is primed for growth and profit, is equally as important, but sometimes that can be challenging, as we all know in our industry. So, COVID. It's been certainly an interesting couple of months. I know that a lot of us did not anticipate 2020 to be this way. But now that you're familiar with the term reputation economy, it's important to understand how COVID-19 has affected our industry and really how it's affecting today's economy as well. So I wanted to share some data with you guys in regards to how COVID-19 has really affected our industry specifically, and to get a sense of how exactly this has impacted the residential construction side of things. We actually sent out a survey to over 7,000 GQ members. That's a part of our bigger umbrella of our company, the Best Pick Reports, and 5-star rated as well. We asked the question intentionally, how is COVID currently affecting your business? And 91% of the people that responded in the first survey that we sent out reported actually having experienced negative effects from COVID-19. That number did actually drop to 86% in the second survey that we sent. However, when you take a step back and look more closely at how negatively they're being impacted today, it's actually a positive shift. 51% actually reported experiencing significant negative impact in survey number 1, whereas in the second time around, that number dropped 20% to 31%. So silver lining is that things are getting better. I can personally attest to this. You know, the conversations that I'm having with our community and our member base, I've had some great success stories shared with me recently, so I can vouch for that. You know, things are looking up. It's just a matter of continuing that upward momentum now. On the downside, though, unfortunately, 37% of the respondents in our second survey believe that we will feel these effects for, at this point, you know, the remainder of 2020, and 95 believe that we will experience the effects from COVID for at least another couple months. So, you know, we're really predicting that the rest of this year is going to be an interesting time, you know, continuing on the last couple months, but we are prepared to help everybody as best we can by positioning you well with your reputation. So there is good news, there is a silver lining, and there is a way to come out on top of everything. Back to the data. When we asked them how exactly and specifically it was impacting their business,
Rebecca, we lost your audio there. Can you hear me? Rebecca, we lost your audio. I'm assuming she's dropped off and that she'll drop back on in just a moment.
Yeah, so basically we were just, I had started to talk about how COVID was affecting our industry specifically. I'm not sure where we got cut off, but essentially our industry is really seeing or was prior to the last couple, of weeks or so, really seeing a decrease in leads and sales. So the good news is, though, that we are seeing an upward trajectory in business. So, the conversations that I've been having with my members specifically have been good in regards to the upward movement of more calls coming through, more projects being scheduled, and more sales being closed. So there is some good news. I did want to just continue going through some data with you guys because I think this is really interesting and helpful. So to really get a sense of how exactly COVID is impacting the residential construction industry specifically, I think you guys may have heard me say this, but we sent out a survey to about 7,000 of our members across all of our 3 sister brands. And when we asked the question, how is COVID really affecting the business? 91% of respondents did say that it was negative. So you guys may have heard me mention that, but if we look more closely, there is an improvement. So the first survey, absolutely 91% of people said it's negatively impacted them. The second survey that we sent out, there was a decrease in that number. So it dropped to about 86%. And the good news is that it keeps dropping. So we're definitely seeing the improvement there. So when we asked them specifically in the survey how things were impacting the business, we received a variety of responses. And the most popular across both of the surveys that we sent were obviously fewer leads and calls coming through, fewer sales, and more people canceling projects. However, results from the second survey did indicate improvement in overall, in the overall areas that we surveyed. So it should definitely be noted that when we did compare the 2 surveys, we saw an increase in the following, specifically sales, 3 to 4%, and more leads and calls coming through at about a 3 to 10% increase. So why exactly is our industry struggling so much? It's a good question. We're probably all sitting around wondering that. The number one thing is homeowner fear and uncertainty. Obviously, these are uncertain times, and many Americans have never experienced a situation like this, or specifically one that we're in right now. And people are being much more cautious when it comes to spending money and keeping their friends and family safe. Um, this is a really big deal. People not wanting to go face to face. Obviously, our industry is geared a lot on personal appointments, going into somebody's home. So we really talk about homeowners being more cautious and selective about who specifically they're inviting into their home. The second piece of impact is a remote workforce. Most non-essential companies are requiring their employees to work from home, or they have been the last couple months. And this really does require a major adjustment for both the employee and the employer. And lastly, the government regulations. Unfortunately, some of the states were forced to shut down. Some companies were forced that were deemed non-essential, and really halt operations until they were told that they could. So, I've been talking to some people that were closed up until a couple of weeks ago, and so they've been having to navigate that. And depending on that state, the construction may or may not have been considered essential. So that was really a pivotal moment for them, and the remainder of this year and how they were going to navigate that. So fortunately, despite many challenges that we've all had the last few months, there are things that you can do right now to strengthen your reputation and really get your name in front of leads. Even if you're unable to work, there are still things that you can do. There is a silver lining, and we can absolutely help you. So you guys are probably all sitting at your computer or tablet, and I have a little task for you. So if you want to go ahead and open another browser window, and I want all of you guys to do that and then Google your business. I'm sure you've all done it before. I know that's a good best practice to do, but I want y'all to just do that and see what pops up. So some things that may pop up might be an ad at the top of the Google search for your company, an ad of a competitor. That is pretty common that I see. Hopefully you're seeing your website towards the top of the search page. What else? Let's see. Customer reviews, very important. Any links to LinkedIn, Better Business Bureau, Houzz, Angie's, Home Advisor, things like that. Or, if you're affiliated with Guild, a Guild quality profile page. So all of that stuff that you're seeing is what comprises your online reputation. It really is truly what your prospective buyers see when they're considering contracting with you guys. So it's really the embodiment of your brand, your team, your customers, and who you are. And more importantly, it's not just about Google. I hear people talk about Google sometimes, and the feedback that I get is Google is king. Well, yes, it is. It's very important, but there's so much more to it than just collecting Google reviews. Is what you see, I'm curious if you guys are looking at your business and you say, if what you see demonstrates trust, does it convey that your company knows what it's doing, that you guys are truly the best of the best? Does it demonstrate value, mastery in your field of expertise? These are all questions that we want to be asking. So this is very interesting, and I wanted to share this with you guys today. According to Bright Local, all consumers, regardless of age group, are doing online research before ever reaching out to anybody. So I want y'all to soak that in for a second. 86% of these consumers say that they actively do the research online and read reviews for local businesses before even making a buying decision. So that's kind of that's a biggie right there. This is even higher when you narrow it down to the 18 to 34 age demographic, which is, 95% of this segment of the population are looking online to make buying decisions. So these are the people that are going to be up and coming, who are going to be calling you guys in the next couple of years, if they're not already calling you now, because this is the future generation of homeowners, and this is how they want to do business. So it's important that we're able to pivot and that we're able to align with how this upcoming generation is making their buying decision. So how do you cover that whole page of search results with the things that you want prospective customers to see? You can, number one, build out your Google My Business page. So if you did not see a sidebar listing for your business, the very first thing that you need to do when we hang up today is call Google and set up your Google My Business profile and follow the steps to completing that. That's very important. Also, make sure that your website is search engine optimized. So when we talk about SEO, what this essentially means is, from a very high level, is that you have optimized your website for search in engines like Google. So when you say things like, I'm an excellent plumber in Atlanta, Georgia, or I'm a custom home builder in Phoenix, Arizona, Google's going to recognize those words, those keywords, and it will show that information related to your company basically on the search results. So it will talk to Google behind the scenes and kind of match up that way. I would also encourage you to seek out help if you need it. It is often intimidating, I will just say. I talk to a lot of people, and a lot of people are very intimidated by this, but I encourage you to seek that expertise. And if you need some recommendations, one of our fellow Service Nation members, Market Hardware, they're a partner of ours, and they can really help you with SEO reach if you need that, or if you need some, assistance with that. Social media. Oh my gosh, you guys, social media, y'all need to get on it if you're not. I promise you, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, get on those platforms and set up a presence for yourself. And, last but not least, it's really just important, as the focus on SEO is giving your customers a way to provide feedback on their experience. So the more platforms that we have set up for you guys on behalf of your company, the more we're going to be able to maximize the feedback that your customers can leave you. So it's really important to cross all of your T's and dot all of your I's when it comes to building those out. And, don't be afraid to be proactive about it. Make sure you're asking for that feedback too, because it makes it easier for you when you're trying to build out your reputation. And it also is a great way to streamline that process. So let's talk about Google's reviews from the web for a second. To me, in my opinion, two of the most important pieces of the puzzle when it comes to your online reputation are obviously SEO, which we just talked about, and customer feedback. So the Google My Business portion of this whole puzzle is a great example of where the two kind of come together and in turn really give you a boost to your overall visibility online. So it's really important that we have an authentic and, really authentic, very recent and verified, that's a biggie, verified customer reviews online to help increase your organic SEO search. That's going to give Google a lot more confidence in the ranking of your business when people in your area are looking for you online. So the bottom line is, if you're not already showing up in a local search, you are hurting your chances. So we can absolutely make that pivot now. We can change the game. If you're not doing that now, it's not too late to start, so that you are going to be setting yourself up for success in this new reputation economy that we're in. Google reviews, I will just tell you candidly, they're very important, but they're not the end all be all. So like I said, it's important to have a variety of platforms. We highly recommend Google. We highly recommend setting up some social presence for your company if you don't already have it, or even if you don't think that you need it. We highly encourage you to do that. so that your customers and your prospects can find you and read the great feedback that's left on your behalf and showcase the quality of work that you do. So this is pretty alarming. Only about 25% of customers will actually speak up when they have a problem with you, which that is shocking to me. So this is why it is very important to be proactive. And the best way to prevent a problem is to get in front of the problem before it starts to become a snowball or a dumpster fire or whatever you guys call it in your company. People don't like conflict. I mean, that's just the nature of it. People are adverse to conflict. They don't like confrontation, or they just are too lazy to do anything about it, or didn't feel connected to you enough to actually give you that constructive feedback to improve. So basically, if you are not proactive in this approach to gathering feedback, it'll likely be an extreme case. You know, there's usually not a whole lot of margin there. It's either one extreme or the other. You'll either have, you know, very happy customers or very angry customers, which you probably already hear from, because those people, you know, like to, what I call, air their grievances often. So we like to say, when you're only hearing from the extremes, you're not getting a true sense of how you're performing and operating as a business, because, you know, we want to make sure that we're consistent. We want to make sure that we are getting ahead of the problem, that we're constantly communicating with your client to make sure that their expectation is met each and every single time. You know, instead of waiting till the end of the build, or, you know, we want to check in with them regularly and make sure that they're happy with the work you're doing. Bottom line is that I highly encourage everybody to consider automating this process, or building in a process, if you don't have one already, that is geared towards collecting customer feedback on a consistent basis. That's really going to help you guys get ahead of the curve and get ahead of any problems, like I said, and also set you up really well for collecting great feedback that you can maximize across all of the platforms, which hopefully you will set up if you don't have after this call today. So let's talk about negative reviews. The value specifically of a negative review, which may sound counterintuitive to you guys. But studies show that, you know, if you receive an occasional negative review every now and then, it can actually be helpful to you. I know that sounds weird, but basically a negative review actually shows the authenticity of your business. And that's really what we want. We want to make sure that your prospects see you as an authentic person to work with. Authenticity is so important. We're really in a time also where reviews are so necessary to business, obviously, that people are going to extreme lengths, you know, to get them, you know, whether they're purchasing robo reviews or fake reviews. We call that review dating over here. It's just a thing that people do, and we highly discourage that. But to be transparent, people do see through that. So the more authentic you can come across, the more likely you are going to have clients that will refer you to other people. They're going to be satisfied. They're going to most likely give you a call, as opposed to somebody with 1,000 fake robot reviews. It's really easy to tell, you know, when all 10 reviews on a page are exactly the same tone, you know, focus. It's pretty evident to buyers, you know, they're pretty perceptive. But this is specifically why 85% of consumers seek out the negative reviews, because they want to know that you are real, you know, authentic. You're not nobody's perfect, as much as we all want to be entrepreneurs, business owners. Nobody is perfect. And so they want to know that it's okay, that you're an authentic source. But when that does happen, and you do get a negative review, we recommend responding to it. You know, don't be afraid to respond. And it goes even a lot further to demonstrate that authenticity in the business, you know, because we're all human, right? Everybody makes mistakes, especially in our industry. I mean, goodness, nobody is perfect in our industry. So it really just shows how you address issues And that will also go a long way with your buyers too. So just keep that in mind. Don't be afraid to correct the problem, own your mistakes, goes a long way. And last but not least, negative reviews can be truly golden nuggets for the business. Don't be afraid to use it as an opportunity to improve and take a look at how you're operating and say, what can we do to tighten things up? Embrace it, teach from it, learn from it, all that good stuff, and build long-term trust by how your company handles that problem. So the more trust that you can build with somebody, the more likely they are to refer you to somebody else. So it's just going to create a really solid ecosystem for you of people that will trust you and want to work with you. So let's talk about how to respond to these. Golden question right here. How do we respond to a negative review? So like I said, it's a good best practice to build this into the business. So if and when you get dinged for something or a bad review, a couple of examples I want to share of what not to do. This is pretty important. So I recommend, and what we recommend is, do not get into a back and forth, he said, she said situation. It's easy to do sometimes when you're heated or you're upset because you don't understand why the client's upset and clearly there was a gap in communication. Do your very best to not get involved with that. Obviously, no name calling. We don't want to go to that level. Let's just avoid that at all costs. And basically, if you wouldn't, I love this piece of advice. If you wouldn't say it to your grandmother's face, do not type it out online for people to read. I mean, plain and simple. That's a good rule of thumb. We recommend keep it professional. We want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward, like I said, to make sure that your reputation is protected in this case. So let's talk about how to respond. Politely and non-defensively. Let's keep it polite, professional, non-defensive. And actually, it's such a great opportunity to turn an unhappy customer into what I call a raving fan, or a fan for life in this case, because you guys technically attempted to solve their problem. So let's focus on the word attempt. And y'all probably noticed I said attempt to solve the problem. The attempt to resolve is really what people remember the most. So if your potential customers see that you attempted to make it right and fix their problem, they can feel assured, and they most likely will feel at peace, with working with you if you try to fix their issue, or at least let them feel heard and appreciated and valued. Give them that as your client. Keep your initial responses short and sweet. We recommend keep it professional, respectful. Take the heart of the conversation offline. So while you can respond online, don't be afraid to pick up the phone and give them a call directly one-to-one and fix it offline. Because at the end of the day, if you have a negative review, consumers want to see that the issue has been addressed or it's been resolved. By responding directly to every complaint, things like that, things posted online, your prospects will recognize that your business cares about the quality and the happiness of the client. So that also will showcase that your business holds itself to a very high standard and is committed to quality and also committed to delivering a remarkable experience. So basically, and from a very high level, if your business comes across and acts as an authentic business, you're going to be associated with being a trustworthy business. So they kind of go hand in hand. So this is interesting as well. If you take the time to simply respond to a review, whether it's a good review, a bad review, or something that's just kind of indifferent, the results will speak for themselves. We find that prospects are 87% more likely to work with a business that responds to reviews. So just keep that in your back pocket. And you may be asking, well, that's kind of weird. Why? Or interesting. Why? It really shows that businesses are customer centric and that the value that the customer experience, they really value that over everything else. And especially in the times that we're in, everything is a little bit uncertain. And it's really the companies that are going to position themselves this way and put the customer first that are going to come out on top of everything. So we recommend absolutely starting to think bigger and make sure that you put that process in place so that you can come out on top. So let's talk about closing some deals. We obviously want to position ourselves to have a healthy online reputation, but the catalyst for that is that we really want to win more business. And the number one thing that you can do is to incorporate that feedback that we get into your sales process. So when you guys get a good review coming through, highly recommend that you use that as a sales tool. That's I call it my secret weapon. Use your good reviews and incorporate them into your conversations with prospects. The first time that you speak with a prospect, encourage them to look at your website. So this is important if you guys, have a great website built, if you have social media networks, any reviews that you can highlight and feature, we recommend you showcase that to the prospect. This is going to immediately give that prospect social proof, is what we call it, of how you're performing as well as your commitment to the problem and resolving problems to increase the satisfaction of the customer. And plus it tells them that you're proud of your accomplishments. You're proud of the quality that you produce and you're proud of the work that you do. And lastly, that you take ownership of problems. You don't avoid the problem, you own it and you move forward accordingly. So that just shows you have nothing to hide and you really are the best option for them to work with. So if you guys wanted to take it a step further, when you're talking to a prospect, I recommend, printing out the customer feedback or including it in your leave behind packets, bringing it to your initial meetings, things that you can show them that, proof of your commitment to quality. Many of my members especially have really shared with me that they bring several customer surveys with them and with varying responses as well, and take them to every single sales meeting. So if you want, you can print them out. Like I said, you can pull it up on your tablet. I recommend if you have an iPad, build that into the process. It's a great way to showcase what you can bring to the table. Typically, and you guys probably find this to be true as well, homeowners really like to see references from past customers. So that's a good way to kind of incorporate that into your conversations. Something else to remember is when you're incorporating the feedback into your sales, it's really great to explain the why and the what. So what I mean by this is tell your prospects why you take the time to collect feedback and survey your customers. And, we survey the customer because you genuinely care. You can say, we genuinely care about the value of their opinion. And we want to know the what we can do. We want to know the what of what we can do to best serve them. So at the end of the day, customer feedback is evidence. It's good, hard evidence that your homeowners are looking for in determining whether or not your business takes care of its customers and provides that experience at a heightened level. And if your business can successfully convey that to prospects, really that their happiness is your priority, they're much more likely to go with you versus a competitor, because anybody truly can say that they're the best option for them, but what do they have to show? So this is like I said, I call it my secret weapon. Use it in your sales conversations. Showcase your quality. Don't be afraid to do that, because you're really going to win more business at the end of the day. So we'll touch briefly as well on starting a direct mail campaign. For those of you that are looking for cost-effective marketing ways to build in to your strategy, in addition to creating your heightened social media and website presence, direct mail is a great way to get started with that. For one, obviously homeowners are home more than ever before right now, and they're actively checking their mail. So you're going to be reaching a lot of people, and it's really a great opportunity to get your company's name directly into their hands, literally and figuratively. So you can let them know that the precautions you're taking to stay healthy and safe. What is your company doing to do that? What discounts are you offering, if any? Or just promote your customer feedback. So if you wanted to send out something with a 5-star review showcasing the quality, it's a great opportunity to do that. So let's sum up some of the things that will give you some quick wins. So here's a short list of what I personally recommend that you guys focus on. So let's sum it up. So the first thing that I recommend you do is set up all of your online profiles. So social media, Google My Business, that's going to be your homework after this call today. Take some time to make sure that all of your T's are crossed and all of your I's are dotted when it comes to your social platforms and your Google My Business profile. The second task that I have for you guys is use a third party to obtain customer feedback. So I was actually talking to somebody about this yesterday. One of the benefits of third party is that you're going to get the good, the bad, and the ugly. So remember what I said about people avoiding confrontation, people are uncomfortable sharing negative feedback. Well, it's a great way to collect that feedback because people are going to be authentic with a third party no matter what. It's unbiased. It also takes the work off of you guys so that you guys can focus on sales and scaling and growing and making sure that you round out 2020 in a great way. And, it also ensures that you're going to get the feedback you're looking for without having to put more work in. Also make sure that you're following up with your customers. That's very important that that is a consistent process. And I really want to just take a second and hone in on something that is pretty crucial. Let's just make sure that we are not bombarding your customers though. We want to make it a fine line between being proactive and not driving them nuts. So also we don't recommend, and unfortunately this happens sometimes, is when we have people like project managers or crew members and they kind of shove a tablet or something in the client's face and say, give me a 5-star give me a 5-star review right now on the spot. We really recommend don't do that because it really leaves a bad taste in the customer's mouth. It's intimidating, and it's not going to give you an authentic picture of how you're performing, which is really important for you guys to be able to take in and have a pulse on everything of how you're tracking operationally. And it won't match the business, online. We want to make sure that that matches the quality in-house for the business. It's a mismatch puzzle piece when we force 5-star reviews down the customer, and that's really not the case. So let's just be mindful of that too. So let's talk a little bit about how Guild Quality can help you guys. So I just want to briefly share, where we can come in and help you guys build out your online reputation and basically set you up to automate this process for you if you don't have one currently, or if you feel like the one that you have right now is not effective. So you may be asking, why Guild Quality? So before any of this existed, before the reputation economy, before online reviews were even considered an important piece of the puzzle, we were getting real reviews from customers 15 years ago. So we were actually founded by a home builder himself 15 years ago, and we specialize in helping people in our industry specifically capture customer feedback and maximize that across your online channels, and also use for internal operational purposes. So contractors that work with us really tend to find that either they're not getting the full picture from what they're doing already, or they don't have any process in place and they're struggling. So because we're a third party, we can come in and survey your customers. We can automate that process for you so that you guys take that completely off your plate. Like I said, focus on what's really important, sales and all that good stuff, and let us capture that feedback for you. You're going to be able to identify pain points very quickly and be able to tighten things up operationally if and when you need to. So you're always going to have a pulse on things while capturing great feedback that you can use to, enhance your online reputation that way. So I wanted to share this graphic with you guys. This graphic here illustrates what our survey process is like. So as you can see, we take the work off of you guys. All you have to do really that's required is just provide us a list of clients. So what a lot of my builders do is submit a monthly or biweekly list of jobs that they're doing. If it's a larger project, we can also do a 3 touch point approach. So just know that's a great way to track projects, making sure that the expectation is met and exceeded each and every single time throughout the project, so that you're always going to be looped in on what the client's needs are. Typically, I will say our surveys yield about a 70 to 80% response rate, but because of COVID, I can personally say that my members are seeing very, very high, almost record high response rates right now. So you're definitely going to be getting the feedback that you're looking for with that. Definitely in my custom home builds and builder community, the reporting tools are highly, highly leveraged. So what we can do, it's more than just a review gathering platform. We have a comprehensive reporting and operational tracker built into the platform. So if you guys are working on a build, for example, and you want to be able to push a survey at the beginning of the build, middle of the build, and end of the build, it's a great way, like I said, to maintain constant contact with the client, making sure that their expectation is met and upheld. And it's just a very easy process for us to be able to do that for you. So you're always going to have the information at your fingertips to be able to course correct if there's a problem, or share the great feedback after the build is complete and your client is living and loving their new home. It's very great as well if you're a data-driven person. I love data, so I personally love working with this tool. It just gives you a great bird's eye view of everything going on. Also customizable. So, the best part about our surveys is they're very intuitive and user-friendly, but they're also customizable. So if there are specific questions that you guys are looking to measure, you can absolutely build those questions into the survey so that we can capture that data for you. The best part is that it also includes line items for each metric so that your client can leave specific comments and feedback under each metric on the survey. So like I said, it's a great way for you guys to take advantage of measuring any opportunity for improvement on the operations side, while also collecting great reviews that you can maximize in the sales process. And obviously we want to market that. So hopefully after this call, you guys are going to make sure that you have your Google My Business page set up, your online profiles, and all of your social platforms activated. So what we can do is essentially capture that good feedback and help you leverage it across your channels. So for example, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, your Guild Quality profile page that we will host for you publicly online. These are all great places to share the 5-star feedback that we will collect for you. So, as Lisa mentioned at the beginning of our call today, you guys have a wonderful affiliation with Builder Partnerships, and we are so proud to be a partner of Builder Partnerships as well. So through that partnership, you guys have access to 20 free surveys to give it a try and see how you like it. So if you're interested in that, just know that you absolutely will get good, solid, comment-rich customer feedback through that if you want to give it a whirl and see what you can do with it. And even after the trial's over, you still have access to that feedback. So once we collect it for you, it's yours, you own that, and you guys can use it in your sales process. And if you decide that it's an awesome fit for you guys and that's really helping you guys thrive in today's reputation economy, we do offer a 20% discount month to month for your membership on behalf of Builder Partnerships. So that's just a little icing on the cupcake for you when it comes to your subscription. So, benefits, like I said, of activating a subscription are building this into the business, automating it for you, so you guys don't have to lift a finger. just know that you can rest easy knowing that this is happening for you behind the scenes. Also gives you a great way to maximize the feedback and tighten things up operationally. Something else that is, good to consider is the fact that we can also include lead rehash surveys. So if you're curious on, why you may not be converting as many prospects as you once were, or you want to know if somebody is still considering a competitor, just know that we also have the capability to push out lead rehash surveys. These are great for warming up leads that may or may not have converted month to month. And it's a great way to, what I like to call, going after, money that's often left on the table each month. So just a nice little benefit of taking advantage of the membership is that you have full access to those as well. So that being said, I wanted to give you guys my contact information. I would absolutely love to set up some time. If this piqued your interest, or if you found this particularly, helpful to you, or you're sitting there thinking about, needing to tighten up your process or build in a process to the business in general, please feel free to contact me. I would love to set up some time with you to chat this week or next week or anytime. And I really appreciate your time today. It was nice to get to speak with you all. And I am so grateful that you all stuck around during my technological issues. But thank you so much for your time. And I really look forward to speaking with you soon.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. Great presentation. If anyone has questions, you can click on the Q&A speech bubble at the bottom of your screen. We'll see if we get any questions coming in here. And while we're waiting for that, I just wanted to say Guild Quality offers excellent tools to help you improve your online reputation, and I encourage you to reach out to them to discover how they can help you gain insight into what's working and what areas have room for improvement. Our next webinar is another in Jim Weigel's Financial Forum series on August 26th. His presentations are filled with valuable insights, and you won't want to miss it. I don't see any questions coming in yet, Rebecca. It must mean you covered it all. Well done.
Thank you
so much. I want to thank everyone for joining us today, and take care.